Hello everyone, welcome to Control Systems lecture. Today we are going to discuss about the time response analysis of first order systems. First of all, we'll define what is the order of any system. So the order of any system is defined as the highest power of S in the system's transfer function's denominator. That means if we are having any system's transfer function, suppose we take that transfer function is something like S divided by S square plus 2S plus 1, then you just have to see that what is the highest power of S in the denominator of this transfer function. So the denominator is having the power of S is as 2, and this here the power is 1, and here you can see you can write it as S to the power 0. So what is the highest power of S in the denominator? It's definitely 2. So we'll say that this system is a second order system. Similarly, when we are talking about time response analysis of first order system, then we'll define any system as to be first order system wherein the denominator is having the highest power of S as 1. So it can be anything, like it can be S plus 3, 1 divided by S plus 3. So you can see that the highest power of S is 1, hence this can be called as your first order system. Next we are saying that we have to discuss about the time response. Now in time response we have already seen that it consists of two parts. One is the transient response and another is the steady state response. So you have to analyze these two parts, that is transient and steady state. What is transient? Transient is something which goes from the initial state to the final state. So what is the type of response that you are getting when we move from initial state to the final state for any system? And what is the steady state response? It's the manner in which the system's output behaves as the time approaches infinite. So when we are designing a control system, we must be able to predict the dynamic behavior of the system. And since a physical control systems involves energy storing elements in it, hence the output of the system, when subjected to any input, it will not follow the input instantaneously. Instead, it will exhibit a transient response before achieving the steady state response. Thus, analyzing a control system, we must examine transient and steady state response both. Okay. So first we are going to actually consider a generic first order system. So here we have taken a generic first order system. It's a very simplified first order system, and we can physically relate the system with any other first order system, like the one we have discussed in previous lecture. I discussed about RL circuits. So there also, after going through this lecture, just go through that example also of RL circuit, and also you can go through RC circuit. You can do the analysis for RC circuit and then determine that whether those systems they are first order systems or they are second order systems. Okay. Now here you can see that we have got a control system with its forward path gain as 1 by tau s, and the feedback path, it's having a unity feedback, so HS we can write it as 1. Okay, and this is the forward path gain, we can write that is given as 1 divided by tau s. And also the output, part of the output, it is given to the input with the negative sign over here, hence this is a negative feedback system. So if you want to find out the transfer function for this system, it's simple. You know the formula, it is the forward path gain divided by 1 plus forward path gain multiplied by feedback path gain. So if you do it, it will be 1 divided by tau s divided by 1 plus 1 divided by tau s multiplied by 1. What is this one? This is the feedback gain. And what is 1 by tau s? This is the forward path gain. And if you solve this, you will get that the overall, this GS is actually the overall transfer function. So the overall transfer function, you will get it as 1 divided by 1 plus tau s. Okay. Now to analyze this system, we are saying that we have to analyze this system. We have to determine the transient and the steady state response. To analyze, we will use various standard inputs for the system, and the first input that we'll be taking will be unit step input. Okay, unit step input means it is UT. Unit step input is UT, and in the previous lecture we have discussed what is the graph of UT, and if you take the Laplace transform of it, then the Laplace transform of UT is 1 divided by S. Okay. So we will take this Rs as 1 by S, and the transfer function, you already know that the system's transfer function is 1 divided by 1 plus tau S, and for this case you will find out what is CS, what is the nature of CS, how the CS is behaving, what are the elements in it, and the transient part and the steady state part of this CS. So if I take CS, CS will be multiplication of Rs multiplied by overall transfer function. Rs we are taking as 1 by S, and this overall transfer function is 1 divided by 1 plus tau S. Okay, so you can see that if you have to do the time response analysis for this one, then in order to do the time response analysis, you have to actually solve this. You have to convert the CS and take the Laplace inverse transform of it and find out what is CT. Then only you will be able to determine how the CS, the output is behaving, how is the nature going on with respect to time. So if you want to solve this, we'll quickly solve it and see what are the results that we can see. So CS is nothing but equal to Rs, that is 1 by S, multiplied by overall transfer function, that is 1 divided by 1 plus tau S. Expanding this CS using partial fraction, we will get A divided by S plus B divided by 1 plus tau S. To find S, to find A, first of all, substitute S in this main equation. Substitute S in the main equation, keeping S aside. Then S is equal to 0 in the main equation, keeping this S aside. Then this will be 1 divided by 1 plus tau into 0, that will be 1. So A's values will come as 1. And similarly for B, you have to equate this to 0. So 1 plus tau S, if you equate it to 0, S will come out to be minus 1 by tau. Substitute minus 1 by tau in this equation, keeping aside this term, then this will be 1 divided by minus 1 by tau, or the value of B is going to be minus tau. Value of B is going to be minus tau. Okay, hence you can write CS, hence we can write CS as equal to 1 divided by S minus tau divided by 1 plus tau S, or a better way to write it is 1 divided by S minus tau divided by, take tau common from the denominator, so you will get S plus 1 by tau. Okay, and here this tau and this tau can get cancelled, and you will get 1 divided by S minus 1 divided by S plus 1 by tau. Sorry for all the noise and disturbance. Now this is the term that you are getting, CS. Now you can easily take the Laplace inverse transform of it. So taking the Laplace inverse Laplace transform, you will get CT as equal to 1 by S, you can write it as 1, minus, of course you can multiply UT with it. Okay, and minus 1 divided by S plus 1 by tau, it will be, it's nothing but e to the power minus t by tau. So this is your main, this is the output that you are getting when you had applied input as RT to any system. Okay, you applied input RT to any system, then in time domain you are getting some output, and that CT output is this is what you are getting. What was this? This input that we applied, that was actually UT, that was a unit step function. For unit step function, if you are giving the input to this first order system, then the output that you are getting is 1 minus e to the power minus t by tau. Okay, now coming back, so here you can see that we have written over here that ct is 1 minus e to the power minus t by tau, same thing that we have derived right now. One more thing, when you are getting this output in time domain, you can see that you have got 1 and you have got e to the power minus t by tau. So there are two components in the output that you can see, and in the Laplace domain also you can see that there were two components. Okay, so you can say that there were two poles in the system, and one of the pole was due to this s, another pole was due to this 1 plus tau s. The input pole of the origin, okay, the input pole of the origin, this is actually the input, this is due to the input, that is rs, and rs was what, 1 by s. So this input pole of the origin generates a forced response, this is generating a forced response, that is 1, and the system's pole, this is the system's pole, this is actually generating your transient response, that is e to the power minus t by tau. Okay, so you're getting two poles in S plane. You can say if you are this is your S plane, then you have two poles, one is at the origin and another is at minus 1 by tau. This minus 1 by tau is contributed due to system's pole, and this pole at the origin, this is contributed to due to your input pole, and this input pole is responsible for your forced response. Okay, and this जो आपका transient आ रहा है, that will be due to this e to the power minus t by tau, that we are getting due to the system's pole. So in the previous lecture I had told you that how the inputs pole and how the systems pole, they how do they contribute to any system. Then you can, same thing we are verifying from here also. Okay, so if you are having this output you are getting as 1 minus e to the power minus t by tau. So how to graphically represent it? You can see we have two component, one and another component is e to the power minus t by tau. For the graph of one is simply with respect to time, this I can write it as ct1 and this is nothing but ct2. So these are the two components. First component ct1, if I want to plot with respect to time, it is 1 only, this value is 1. And if I want to plot ct2 with respect to time, ct2, then this is exponentially decaying curve, e to the power minus t by tau. Okay, at t equal to 0, the value of e to the power minus t by tau, so at t equal to 0 this value will be equal to 1. So at t equal to 0 this value is equal to 1, and t equal to infinite, if I substitute t to, as infinite, so it will be e to the power minus infinity, and that is 0. Hence at t equal to infinite, this exponential term, it will decay to 0. Okay, so what is CT? This is the subtraction of this and this graph and this graph. These two graphs you have to subtract. So at t equal to 0, 1 minus 1, hence the output that you will get at t equal to 0 will be 0. At t sometime after 0, you will see that first one is CT1 is 1 only, minus this you can say that it is some value less than 1. So if you subtract this from this, you will get something which is positive value. And similarly, as you keep on subtracting this from this graph, you will say that the values are becoming positive, and ultimately when this is becoming equal to 0, the final value that you are getting, the final CT value that you are getting, that is a constant value, and that value is 1. So the final value that you are getting, the final steady state value, that value is going to be 1. Okay, so this is the graph for CT. this is the graph for CT. Now we are again and again saying that in this term we have got this e to the power minus t by tau. We are using this term tau again and again. But what is the significance of this tau? So let us now examine the significance of this parameter tau, and this parameter tau is actually known as your time constant. Time constant, we have already seen that you are looking at two curves, and you have got the expression of CT. CT is 1 minus e to the power minus t by tau, and for this you got the graph which looked like, with respect to time, if I plot it, then it looks somewhat like this, okay, where this final value that you are getting is equal to 1. And if I want to plot the graph of e to the power minus t by tau, if I want to plot this curve e to the power minus t by tau, okay, this we'll understand later that this is nothing but the error for the system, okay. This is at t equal to 0 you are getting value as 1, and at t equal to infinite this value is reducing to 0, okay. So these are the curves that you are getting. Now just substitute the value of t as equal to tau in this equation, the output equation that you have got. In this equation, just substitute the value of t as tau. So you actually want to find out c tau. So that will be equal to 1 minus e to the power minus, you have to substitute t as tau. So you substitute it as tau only, divided by tau, and that will be 1 minus e to the power minus 1. What is e to the power minus 1? It is 1 minus e to the power minus 1 is 0.37. Okay, so you will get this as 0.63. This value that you are getting, it will be 0.63. Or you can say that e to the power minus t by tau, when you substitute t as tau, then this value is nothing but equal to 0.37. Okay, so you define time constant from here only. We define time constant, okay. This time constant is defined as the time taken for this e to the power minus t by tau, this graph e to the power minus t by tau, for this graph to decay to 37%. This is what? This is what? This is 37% of the initial value. Initial value that was there, it was 1, and now this is reducing to 37% of its initial value. So the time taken for e to the power minus t by tau to decay to 37% of its initial value, that will be defined as the time constant. Or from here you can see that the final steady state value of CT is 1. So you can say that the time taken, for which time taken for the step response to rise from 0 to 63%, जो 63% है, यहाँ पे आपको 0.63 मिल रहा है. This 0.63 is nothing but 63% of the final value. So the time taken for the step response to rise to 63%, 0.63, 63% of the final value, that will be known as the time constant. So these two definitions are generally said that these two using these two definitions you define the time constant. But practically, how can you understand it? What is practically, if you want to practically understand that what is time constant, then I'll just give you a very basic example. Suppose you have to take a trip from, suppose, Raipur to, you have to go to Bhilai. You have to take a trip from Raipur to Bhilai, and you have got three options. So you have got three options. First option is that you can go through car, you can go using car. Another option, second option, is that you can go by using some van, and third option is that you can go using a truck. So these three options you have, and using these three options you have to go to Bhilai. Okay, these are the three vehicles that you have in option, and you have to go reach Bhilai. So destination is fixed, that you have to go to Bhilai. Initiation is fixed, that you have to move from Raipur and you have to go to Bhilai. But the speed taken by these three vehicles, will it be same? And how is the nature of the speed going to be with respect to time? So as you know that if you are to compare this car and this truck and this van, then you can easily understand that a car, it will speed up much more faster. Okay, or in other words I can say that the acceleration for this car will be much more than with respect to than this van and than this truck, because truck is very heavy in nature. Okay, if the truck for truck to accelerate to certain speed, it will take much more time. Okay, the acceleration will be lesser than if you want to compare it with respect to car. So if I simply plot the curves for this with respect to time, if I simply plot the curves, speed curves, then in order to reach a particular speed, then you can say that um, your car will reach a particular speed. If this is the graph that I am showing for car, then the van will have a lesser acceleration and the truck will have even less acceleration than compared with the other two. So this is the curve for car, this is curve for van, and this is the curve for truck. Okay, each vehicle is having different acceleration, and hence we can say, and if I want to specify one thing, that what is the time taken for these three vehicles to reach 63% of its final value. What is the time? Now suppose this is the final speed that you are talking about, and this I am calling it as 1, and I am saying that 63% is marked over here. Then how much time is being taken by these three vehicles to reach 63% of its final steady state value? Then you can easily see that the time taken by this car is, let us say, tau 1. The time taken by this van, let us say it as tau 2, and the time taken by this truck, let us call it as tau 3. So you can easily see over here that this tau 1 is less than this tau 2, and which is less than this tau 3, and these values I am calling it as time constants. Okay, these three are the time constants, and they are defining the speed of the system. So time constant is, again, it's the time required for the vehicle to reach 63% of its final value. We are comparing these three situations, and the larger is this time constant. You can see larger time constant is for truck, then the slower is the system. So same thing we are seeing in the in case of our first order system also, that we are discussing about output, okay, with respect to time, and we are discussing it that for any system, time constant can be defined as the time taken by the output to reach 63% of its final steady state value. So for different systems will have different time constants, and this time constant will actually give us an idea about the speed of the system. So this gives you a very good idea that how is the system going to behave. Okay, then we'll come back what we were discussing. So I hope the concept of time constant is clear. It is the time at which the system's output value reaches 63% of its steady state output, and it is equal to the inverse of the location of real part of pole. Now why am I saying this, that it is equal to the inverse of location of real part of pole? So actually time constant we define it as t equal to tau, and the pole that you have got, okay, here you can see what is the pole that you have got for this system. The pole is at -1 by tau. Okay, this is the real part. Okay, it's not containing any imaginary part in this example, but the reciprocal of this will be what? Minus tau. And time you are not going to define in terms of negative or not, but we can say that time constant always it is there, that it is equal to the inverse of the location of the real part of the pole of the system. So time constant can also be derived if you know the pole of the real part of pole of any system. And also we can say that over here time constant is tau. Okay, time constant is tau. Farther the pole from the imaginary axis, this pole, if it is even more farther, like this is the imaginary axis, and farther the pole it moves away from the imaginary axis, faster will be the transient response. Faster is going to be the transient response. This becomes clear, and hence it is important when we deal with systems. When you have to design any system, then you make sure that if you want to make a faster system, then it should be made to be much more away from the imaginary axis, as looking into definitely the stability of the system. Okay, next another term that we are going to define is settling time. Okay, but before we discuss settling time, I'll discuss about the steady state analysis or steady state error. Okay, steady state for any system, it is said to have achieved when the system's time it approaches infinite. When the system's time approaches infinite, then we say the system has achieved steady state. So here only you can say that when time reaches infinite, then this will become 1 minus e to the power minus infinity by tau, and this is going to reduce to 0. Hence we say that at steady state the system's output is going to be 1. So at steady state the value is becoming 1. The input that we applied was also 1. Input जो हमने apply किया था, that was unit step function, and that value was also 1. So then next another term we define as error. Error is nothing but the difference between the applied input and the output. हमने क्या इनपुट दिया? हमने इनपुट दिया 1. हमको स्टेडी स्टेट में क्या आउटपुट मिल रहा है? नहीं, हमको आउटपुट क्या मिल रहा है, उससे अगर आप सब्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे इनपुट को, दैट विल गिव अस एरर. एंड इफ यू वांट टू फाइंड द एरर एट स्टेडी स्टेट, देन द इनपुट दैट वी हैव अप्लाइड दैट इज इक्वल टू 1 minus the value that you are getting at the steady state. So minus 1, this is nothing but equal to 0. So at steady state the error at the steady state is the between input and output. So at steady state the error that we are getting for the system is 0. It will be interesting to know other values also. It will be interesting if we define error for some other values of the system. So we will quickly do some very basic mathematics over here. You know, Ct is defined as 1 minus c to the power minus t by tau, and error, as we are saying, it is the subtraction of input that we have applied was 1 minus in terms of time we are writing na 1 matlab this is ut only. You can multiply the complete term with ut. Input minus output, so output that you have is 1 minus e to the power minus t by tau. If you do this, you will get 1 minus 1, that will be 0, and this minus minus, so error is e to the power minus t by tau. Now let us take डिफरेंट वैल्यूज़ ऑफ टाइम की अलग अलग वैल्यूज़ लेते हैं और चेक करते हैं कि आउटपुट आपका क्या क्या आ रहा है, और फॉर डिफरेंट वैल्यूज़ ऑफ टाइम व्हाट आर द एरर्स दैट यू आर गेटिंग. So let us say that at t equal to 0, first of all we will take t equal to 0. सी टी कितना हो जाएगा, सी टी विल बी 1 माइनस ई टू द पावर माइनस 0 दैट इज इक्वल टू 1, और एरर एट टी इक्वल टू 0 कितना हो जाएगा, एरर है आपका ई टू द पावर माइनस 0, सो दिस विल बी, एरर कितना आ जाएगा, इट इज 1, ठीक है, एरर आपका आ रहा है 1, सॉरी दिस इज 0, e to power minus 0 is 1, so ct is coming out to be 0 and error that you are getting is 1, so I'll say that there is 100% error at t equal to 0. Next take t equal to tau. So at t equal to tau, ct will be 1 minus e to the power minus t by tau, मतलब tau by tau, या फिर इसको बोल सकते हैं 1 माइनस ई टू पावर माइनस 1, ई टू द पावर माइनस 1 क्या था हमने निकाला था, इट इज़ 0.37, और दिस वैल्यू 1 माइनस 0.37 इज 0.63. तो इस केस में आप अगर एरर निकालोगे तो एरर क्या आ जाएगा, ई टू द पावर माइनस 1 एंड दैट विल बी 0.37 एंड दैट इज नथिंग बट 37% एरर दैट यू आर गेटिंग. 37% एरर क्यों, क्योंकि हमारा इनपुट जो है वो हमने 1 लिया है, हमको विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू इनपुट हम एरर निकाल रहे हैं, सो द एरर दैट यू विल बी गेटिंग विल बी 37%. ठीक है, 37%, इट्स 100% से काफ़ी कम हो गया है एरर. लेट्स टेक अनदर वैल्यू, टी की वैल्यू ले लेते हैं 2 टाउ. तो यहाँ से अब क्लियरली पता चल जाएगा सी टी की वैल्यू क्या हो जाएगी, ई टू 1 माइनस ई टू द पावर माइनस 2, ई टू द पावर माइनस 2 कितना होता है, इट इज़ 0.135, सो 1 माइनस 0.135, या फिर सी टी की वैल्यू आपकी आ जाएगी इस केस में 0.865. एरर कितना आ जाएगा, एरर आ जाएगा ई टू द पावर माइनस 2, या फिर इट कैन बी 0.135, that means it is having an error of 13.5%. अभी भी सिस्टम में आपका जो एरर है ये 13.5% चल रहा है. नेक्स्ट टेक t इक्वल टू 3 टाउ. 3 टाउ में देखते हैं क्या आएगा, तो ये हो जाएगा 1 माइनस ई टू द पावर माइनस 3, 1 माइनस ई टू द पावर माइनस 3 निकालो तो आएगा 0.049, या फिर इसकी वैल्यू आपकी आ जाएगी 0.951. मतलब अब आपका आउटपुट जो है वो 0.951 तक रीच कर गया है. एरर कितना आ जाएगा, ई टू द पावर माइनस टी बाय टाउ, टी हमने लिया है 3 टाउ बाय टाउ, तो वो हो जाएगा आपका ई टू द पावर माइनस 3. एरर कितना आ जाएगा इस केस में 0.049, या फिर इट इज़ रिड्यूस टू 4.9%. टी की वैल्यू 4 टाउ लोगे, ठीक है, 4 टाउ में क्या आएगा 1 माइनस ई पावर माइनस 4, या फिर 1 माइनस 0.018 दैट इज इक्वल टू 0.982, या फिर एरर आपका जो आएगा ई टू द पावर माइनस 4 दैट विल कम आउट टू बी एज 0.018, और इट इज 1.8% एरर. ओके, सो यू कैन सी एक पैटर्न आपको दिख रहा है कि एज द टाइम इज इंक्रीजिंग, जैसे जैसे हमने टाइम की वैल्यू इंक्रीज करते गए फ्रॉम 0 टू वी इंक्रीज इट टू 4 टाउ, देन यू कैन सी द एरर हैज़ रिड्यूस्ड. एरर की वैल्यू जो है वो आपकी रिड्यूस होती हुई चली गई. फ्रॉम हियर वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड, वील अंडरस्टैंड वन मोर टर्म, एंड दैट टर्म इज नोन एज सेटलिंग टाइम. Settling time is defined as the time required for the output to reach and stay within 2% या फिर और कोई भी value of its final steady state value. Okay, time required by the output to reach 2%. जैसे हम suppose आपको कहीं दिया है कि आपको settling time निकालना है for 2% एरर उसमें अलाउड रहेगा. तो इसका क्या मतलब है, सेटलिंग टाइम वी कॉल समथिंग एज सेटलिंग टाइम. एक्चुअली यू डोंट ऑलवेज व्हेन यू हैव टू टॉक अबाउट स्टेडी स्टेट ऑफ एनी सिस्टम, सो यू हैव ऑलरेडी सीन दैट द ग्राफ ऑफ सी टी विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू टी, यू गॉट इट समथिंग लाइक दिस. ओके, अब आपने स्टेडी स्टेट को डिफाइन किया. स्टेडी स्टेट इज समथिंग that when time reaches infinite, that will be steady state. But we call another term that is settling time, इसको हम इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं. ये वो टाइम होता है, हम कोई एरर बैंड फिक्स कर देते हैं कि अगर जैसे सपोज हमने कोई सिस्टम में कहा कि 2% एरर आउटपुट में अलाउेबल है, 2% अगर आ जा रहा है तो उसको हम कंसिडर कर सकते हैं कि वो आप बोल सकते हैं कि आपका सिस्टम जो है वो स्टेडी स्टेट रीच कर गया है. ओके अगर सिस्टम का आउटपुट जो है फ्रॉम स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम ज़ीरो, we'll say that when the system achieves a point where the error in the system is only 2%, within the 2%, then we'll call that टाइम पीरियड. जहाँ से आपने स्टार्ट किया वहाँ से 2% एरर तक पहुँचने में जितना टाइम लगा उतने टाइम को आप बोलोगे कि दिस इज़ दी सेटलिंग टाइम फॉर द सिस्टम. तो अगर आपने 2% कहा तो यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं for 2% you have to take when your time is 4 tau, then आपका जो एरर आ रहा है ये 1.8% है, जो कि 2% से कम है. ठीक है, तो विद इन 2% में आपको यही ऑप्शन दिख रहा है. ऊपर जो आपके ऑप्शंस हैं, अगर ये बोला गया होता है कि आपको आप सेटलिंग टाइम उसको बोल सकते हैं जब आपका सिस्टम जो है वो आउटपुट रीच करे विच इज़ विद इन 5%, within 5%, then you could have taken this, that you could have taken settling time as t equal to 3 tau. Tau आपको मालूम है, tau is the time constant. So when the system is reaching 3 times of this time constant, then I'll say call it as settling time. अगर आप 5% की बात कर रहे हैं, अगर आप 2% की बात कर रहे हैं तो आप बोल सकते हैं कि when the system's time is reaching 4 times of its time constant, then this I'll define it as the settling time. And settling time actually defines the start of the steady state. कहाँ से आपका सिस्टम स्टेडी स्टेट रीच करना स्टार्ट कर गया है, यहाँ से आप डिफाइन कर लेते हैं सेटलिंग टाइम को. ओके, so for the first order system we can actually find the time constant, we can determine, analyze the system in terms of time constant, we can find the settling time, then we can find the steady state error. जैसा कि आपने देखा यहाँ से we had steady state error. ठीक है, so we defined steady state error क्या है. steady state error जो आपका आ रहा है वो है आपका at steady state the error is equal to 0. what is the settling time? तो अगर आप बोल रहे हैं within 2%, then you define settling time as 4 tau. okay, then settling time will be 4 tau. so this is how you can analyze any system. And now I want you all to just look into the RL circuit and RC circuit and determine whether those systems they are first order system or second order system, and the graphs that you are taking, you are getting there with when you take the input as the step voltage or step input, तो उस केस में ग्राफ जो आया वो आप ये यहाँ पे जो ग्राफ्स आ रहे हैं इनसे रिलेट कर पा रहे हो कि नहीं.